Will you accept this rose? I mean, it's not a rose, but sort of a rose. Any guesses? Seriously? Like, come on, you guys. You must know what this show is. Today's question is, I should share with you guys my current guilty pleasure. And I'm not even guilty about this, you guys. It was a pretty easy thing for me. It just came just like that. And the guilty pleasure for me is, drum roll please, The Bachelorette. I'm pretty sure whatever country you live in, there is probably a version of The Bachelorette, probably. I live in Canada, so we do have The Bachelorette Canada. I don't watch that. I've never watched it, or The Bachelor or whatever. And then The Bachelor US, I watched probably the first 2 seasons or first season or 2 of both of them. And then I just kind of moved on. I just found it really stupid and dumb. And it kind of is, to be honest. Let's just be real. But anyway, so this year, they have the very first Black Bachelorette, and her name is Rachel. I don't know her last name, but she's so awesome. She's a lawyer. She's someone I would probably want to hang out with in real life. That's why I'm watching it. As in, she seems normal. She feels like someone I can actually relate to, and not because she's Black, even though I'm like super excited about that, but because she's, you know, she's like a professional or a young professional, and she's like trying to do stuff professionally, and she's super easygoing, or at least the personality they've shown us, or her interests or whatnot. Like, she seems just like a normal person. I really appreciated that. I did like the first or the second Bachelorette they used to have, Trish. I forget her last name. I think she's actually one of the few bachelorettes who's still married to the person they found on the show. She was a doctor. Like, I really liked her too. She was really cool, and like, I like normal people who don't seem like they have extravagant life. I don't have an extravagant life. But anyway, so back to the story. I love The Bachelorette, and if you're watching Bachelorette US, comment below and tell me who your favorite guy is. I don't think any one of you guys actually watches The Bachelorette, but surprise me. Indulge me. I don't see myself watching The Bachelor, The Bachelorette ever again, unless or until they have a non-white bachelor or bachelorette again. I'm just being honest. Like, if they have, I would love to see like an Asian bachelorette or somebody else, like just anybody else, Indian, anything, anybody, anybody else really. And it's just because it just adds like a different dimension to the show, and otherwise it's just basically the same show over and over again. But yeah, I'm loving the show. I have 2 favorites on the show, and one guy who I think would be a great match for her, even though I don't think she's gonna pick him. The first favorite of mine, who's a fan favorite, is Pete or Peter. He has this gap in his teeth, and she has a gap in her teeth as well, and so it's kind of like a cute little gap kids. I see gap kids happening. Anyway, so corny, but yeah, I think they're cute. And plus, I like him because he's super chill. He's not like doing the most to get the attention, which some of the guys do, like wear penguin suits and do all sorts of random things just to get the attention. And I think for a job, he owns a personal training business or something like that, which is kind of different. Not my thing, but you know, good for him. He looks good and he seems down to earth. The second guy is Kenny, who is this dad. I think his daughter is like 10 or something. I think he's actually more like the more mature person on the show. All of them seem to have this very boyish thing about them, and it's not really my thing either. Yeah, I do appreciate the fact that he acts a little bit mature, on the more mature side. He's a professional wrestler, which is really odd. Again, not my thing. I'm not really into guys who do like heavy fitness stuff because I don't want anyone to make me feel bad about not working out, so I stay away from those guys. Anyway, so the guy I think is actually a good match for her is who's a chiropractor, and in the first episode he actually took her and just snogged her like in a way that was completely inappropriate in my mind, but she seemed to have enjoyed it. Just take a look. Just take a look.
Tell me why you're trouble, because you said you were a troublemaker.
It was just a little joke.
Oh, there's no truth behind that?
There's good
I
trouble.
Don't believe
There's
that.
good trouble. It's
I
only the
believe
best
that.
trouble.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
He just took it upon himself to take me in his arms and kiss me, and I was not ready for it. Did not want to kiss anybody tonight, but boy, did I love it.
Yep, she seemed to have enjoyed it, so. I do think they have a good connection, and he spoke Spanish and she's trying to speak Spanish, like she's, I think, learning Spanish or something. It just seemed really nice. Like whatever was happening there, I was there for it. The Bachelorette is my guilty pleasure, and I'm very unguilty about it. I don't feel bad watching it at all, and I don't feel embarrassed about watching it. I love watching it. But yeah, in terms of the racial aspect of the show, I think it's quite interesting because I know many of you guys who watch my channel are not actually black, and I always wonder because, you know, you watch all these shows and then you pick like a character that you identify with, whether it's Sex and the City you're watching or whatever, Friends, and you kind of don't really think about race, or at least I didn't. But I've always wondered whether non-white people are able to watch content on a regular that's non-white content, if that makes sense. So like, I know Scandal, for example, the TV show, has actually been incredibly successful despite it having a female lead who's black, but I do think the cast is diverse, so it's kind of different. So when I say like a non-white show, I mean something like Girlfriends, which was like a show I grew up on. I know Cosby Show was popular. Yeah, like modern shows, like I just feel like, do you have shows that you watch that have a majority of another race other than white people? Because I feel like even with a lot of my friends who are white, like I often feel that they don't watch shows that are non-white dominant characters, and I don't know why that is. Like whether it's because, like I don't actually know, so I'm curious about that. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's an important topic sometimes, because the thing about Hollywood is when people watch certain things, it allows for a production or more productions of more content like that. So I'm so happy that there's like Shonda Rhimes, who's a producer that makes like Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder, and all those type of shows. And in her shows, she actually casts all types of people in her shows, which I really appreciate. But I feel like the mainstream TV and movie situation is pretty non-diverse. So on telly, when something like The Bachelorette makes the move of getting a non-white person being the Bachelorette, it's sort of like a big deal. And a big deal because I think it allows people to see that there are many types of people within a race. And just because, like, I feel like sometimes media has been really horrible at representing certain ethnic groups in certain light. They stereotype people into these categories. So they're like, in all the shows or whatever, the Asian guy is like somehow like great at martial arts, or I don't know, things like that, or the black guy is like the thug or something. So it's nice to have more representations of different types of races in different types of roles, because I feel like that's how people will start looking at people differently, not being so stereotypical about certain things. But anyway, so back to the show, The Bachelorette. And I'm also curious to see with her, because again, it's not like she got, you know, a bunch of black guys on the show. Like it's, I mean, it's certainly the most black guys that have ever been on a Bachelor or Bachelorette show for sure, but it's probably less than 5. I don't know, it doesn't seem like they're the majority. But it's kind of interesting though, because already there've been race things that have played out on the show already, and tensions and stuff like that. So it's, even though it's about her finding love, whatnot, it's kind of interesting to see how the race thing is actually playing out on telly as well. So yeah, that is pretty much all I gotta say about The Bachelorette. I'll end this video now because I am rambling, but I love The Bachelorette, and that's my current favorite show right now. And yes, that is in fact my current guilty pleasure, and I'm so proud of it.
Done my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.